The cult of Carnage spreads its tentacles all over the world, and no one is safe, especially if you're a former symbiote owner like Mania. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Web of Venom Funeral Pyre issue number 1 and find out. Alrighty then, so as we join the comic, we check back on in with Andy. You may remember her as the one-time symbiote-wearing sidekick of Flash Thompson during his time as a gym teacher in Philadelphia. Andy, of course, is also a cool alternative goth girl with a bunch of facial piercings, and you know what, if I may be so bold as to quote Morgan Freeman from Shawshank Redemption for a minute, I liked Andy right away. Of course, right now Andy's not doing so hot. She's being besieged by a horrible symbiote-based nightmares, which is strange because she's been separated from her suit for a long time. In fact, it was stolen from her by Lee Price. Yet another person to use the identity Venom, whose tenure was so forgettable and so maligned he does not even get mentioned here in this story. We just say that her suit was stolen at one point. Andy talks a lot about phantom limb syndrome, how it was a concept taught to her by veteran Flash Thompson, how he still kind of felt like he had his legs, and for Andy it sometimes still kind of feels like she has her alien costume. Try though she might to live a normal everyday human life, she continues to have these horrifying waking nightmares, almost as if something somewhere is trying to warn her about something terrible that's about to happen. It's getting to the point that even her friends and family can no longer deny that there's something very, very weird about this girl, which is gonna seem hilarious by the end of this issue. When Andy returns home later that night, she's horrified to see that her aunt is no longer there. In her place, though, is Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, who, if you've been following along with all of these Venom one-shots, has been traveling the world doing the will of Null, the original creator of the symbiotes. And right now, that will includes killing Andy and trying to take what little pieces of symbiote are left behind in her bloodstream as an offering to Carnage's new dark god that will allow him to reappear on Earth. Considering how many different Marvel characters have had a symbiote over the years, why exactly did Carnage decide to single her out first? I guess there's not many heroes in Philadelphia to help her out. Now, before you think this is going to turn into some sort of slasher movie where a gross monster chases a poor defenseless girl through the streets, Andy isn't exactly defenseless. Oh sure, she doesn't have her symbiote anymore, but that was never her only power. You see, Andy was marked by the devil, yeah, which gives her a bunch of hell powers, like being able to summon demons like a heavy metal Pokemon trainer. Also, I really do gotta love the idea that the symbiote thing is what was giving her nightmares as a sort of early warning system about Carnage, but not the whole being touched by the devil thing. She's in a good place with that mentally and emotionally. I'm saying it a lot recently, but it bears repeating, ain't comics just grand? Now, in the past, the proper allocation of hellfire would have been more than enough to burn up any Clintar within sight, but Carnage is no longer just a simple alien costume draped over a serial killer. He is the favored prophet of Null, and because of that, Cletus says he no longer fears hellfire and that the devil should be having nightmares about him. Ooh. It's really all Andy can do to try and slow him down. Eventually, though, Carnage does get the upper hand and moves on in for the kill. Luckily, her devil mark ends up sending her through the underworld for her own protection and spitting her back up in New York. Proof that it's always good to have friends in low places. Also, what's the opposite of a Deus Ex Machina? A Diablos Ex Machina, if you will, which, oh my god, that totally needs to be the name of my new indie band as the comic ends. And so that was Web of Venom Funeral Pyre issue number 1, everybody, and ultimately I thought it was a pretty fine little issue and a nice little prologue to Absolute Carnage that's going to be coming down the pipeline. It was nice too that Cullen Bunn got to write this issue, considering he also has a long storied history writing Venom. And especially when it comes to Andy too, you can tell Bunn still has a lot of affection and affinity for this character, and it's nice to know that she's going to be playing a part in all of this. Now, unlike all the other Web of Venom books, I wouldn't call this necessary reading to understand what's going on heading into Absolute Carnage, but if you are a Venom completionist and if you liked Bunn's time on Venom, then you'll definitely enjoy this too. Ultimately, I give it a 7 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not take a look at some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're feeling in a charitable mood, why not check out my Patreon page? Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. So, until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I will be continuing to make more comic book videos that smack of greatness. Bye-bye.